Proverbs 22:5 says, "Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them." The second half of this proverb is clear. If you run with the froward type, you'll pay the price. If you stay away from them, you'll avoid suffering the consequences. We have often tried to make 2 points simultaneously when it comes to this situation of running with bad company. If you choose to run with bad company and get into trouble, you have no one to blame but yourself. You can't blame the bad company for your choices. But number 2, if you stay away from bad company, you will minimize your risk and temptation to even make bad choices that will result in trouble. In other words, if you choose bad friends and they lead you into trouble, it was your choice to run with them in the first place, and so you get the blame. That's the principle behind 2 Corinthians 6:14. "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?" If you are yoked to a bad person in a relationship, that relationship will cause you to struggle, stumble, and eventually fall. If you've never seen an unequally yoked, there are videos out there simulating, at least, what it's like when you put a yoke on, let's say, a cow and a donkey at the same time instead of 2 cows or 2 donkeys. And it doesn't go well. Many read right past the commandment not to do this that's found in the Mosaic Law, one of those 613 laws found in Deuteronomy 22:10. "Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together." This was a commandment given for practical reasons. It would have caused garden rows to be crooked, and it would have caused physical injury to one or both of the animals, and possibly even the person driving and steering the plow. At any rate, such a situation is not a pretty sight. And that then also should teach us the lesson when it comes to relationships, including marriage, but also close relationships, friendships, business relationships even. The message of our proverb is clear. If you yoke up with the froward, then as they go flying off the cliff into trouble, they'll take you right along with them. "Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them." And as sad as it is to see people attach themselves to someone that leads them into trouble with the law or divorce court or the many other types of trouble that bad associations can bring, there's nothing more sad than when a man or woman latches on to someone who takes them into spiritual darkness. I've seen people latch on to TV preachers, denominations, maybe the colleges that they go to with strong alumni ties, and of course cults of various kinds. And these folks just trust someone else to do their thinking for them. They blindly follow the blind. And what did Jesus say about that? Mark 16:15 ends with Jesus saying, "And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch." And usually the blind follower gets behind a blind leader that is arrogant, unteachable, and froward. I've talked to so many of these people, and they just are so arrogant in their ignorance. It's just an amazing thing to behold. And that blind guide leads all who follow them into thorns and snares. Can even lead people to hell. "But he that doth keep his soul shall be far from them." It's your soul. The only one you can control is the one you look at in the mirror. And you keep your soul from that type of person, then you won't fall into the same ditch. May God grant us the wisdom to stay the course and to only follow those who follow His Word. As Paul said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." And may God lead us in His ways without compromise or failure as we follow His Word and His will.